Minister of Foreign Affairs in Arab Republic of Egypt and the Chair of the High Technical Committee on Human Rights, Your Excellency Ambassador Khaled Aref, the Ambassador of Egypt to Gambia and Senegal, distinguished members of the Egyptian delegation to the 85th Ordinary Session, I too am pleased to take the floor to join the chairperson in welcoming you and thanking you for being here today. Your Excellency, the Commission takes note with appreciation your presentation of its 18th periodic report covering the period 2019 to 2024. In particular, we note the participatory and inclusive process that led to the preparation of the periodic report under review through the Permanent High Commission for Human Rights established in 2020 by a decision of the Presidency of the Council of Ministers, which includes all ministries and government agencies concerned with human rights under the leadership of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Your Excellency, the Commission wishes to commend the State Party for its strong engagement in state reporting and Article 62 of the African Charter. Whilst appreciating the state periodic report, the Commission would like to raise some questions pertaining to its content, as well as request further information on how the government of Egypt is implementing the rights enshrined in the African Charter and other relevant instruments. We note that the State Party is aware of several Commission's guidelines, and we would like to know if you are aware of the guidelines for national periodic reports under the African Charter. Does the Permanent High Commission for Human Rights, established in 2020, enjoy sufficient human and financial resources to effectively implement its mandate? On ratification, the Commission notes that the government did not ratify any African or international human rights instruments during the reporting period. However, the report informs that executive measures have recently been taken to accede to protocols to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, to the rights of older persons, and on rights of persons with disabilities. The delegation is invited to provide us with an update on the ratification process of the aforementioned instruments. The Commission is also taking note that Egypt adopts the monist legal system with constitutional provision that makes ratified international treaties part of domestic law, with a legal force superior to that of domestic law and without requiring separate implementing legislation. The Commission would like to find out if the delegation agrees that even if ratified human rights international conventions are systematically incorporated into the national legal system and applied directly, their domestication and internalization would enhance the promotion and protection of human rights in a state party. Does the government is on the values and principles of decentralization, local government and development, the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, on the rights of women in Africa, Maputo Protocol, the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the establishment of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of citizens to social protection and social security, the protocol to the African Charter on human rights, on rights of specific aspects of the right to nationality and eradication of statelessness in Africa, and finally, the protocol on the statute of the African Court of Justice and Human Rights. At the international level or United Nations level, there are a couple of them. I will not go through them because we'll be providing this to you and you'll be able to note them. With regard to national human rights framework, the Commission welcomes the first National Human Rights Strategy 2021 to 2026, launched in September 2021, which was prepared in accordance with consultative approach involving all ministries and government agencies, NGOs, drawing on international experiences and best practices in many countries around the world. The Commission would like to, however, ask if the National Human Rights Strategy enjoys sufficient human and financial resources to achieve its target. The delegation is invited to list any concrete specific efforts undertaken by Egyptian authorities during the period under review in order to popularize and disseminate the African Charter and other relevant human rights instruments. The delegation is kindly invited to provide an overview on the main achievements and recommendations of the Permanent High Commission on Human Rights. The Commission commends the government the decision to lift state of emergency in October 2021. That is paragraph 27 of the report. The delegation is invited to provide details on the positive impact of lifting the state of emergency on the effective implementation of human rights. With regard to Article 2, that is non-discrimination, which is provided under Article 4, 9, 11, 53 of the Egyptian Constitution, Egypt ratified the International Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination in May 1967. In addition to the above-mentioned provisions, is the government considering adopting a specific law on preventing and combating discrimination? The delegation is invited to list any prosecutive or convictions for discrimination-related cases and state parties during the period. There are quite a number of questions under this, and I will not read all of them. We will provide them to you because of time. On the right to freedom of conscience, Article 8, the Commission takes note that the right to freedom of conscience is provided in Article 353 and 64 of the Egyptian Constitution. The report mentions initiatives aimed at promoting the values of tolerance and respect for cultural and religious diversity, including awareness campaigns launched by Azhar al-Sharif to promote the principles of true Islam, foremost among which are tolerance and acceptance of others. Is the government considering lifting its reservations on Article 8 of the African Charter in line with the previous recommendations of the Commission? The delegation is invited to provide information on religious registrations. Does it require religious groups to possess a set of minimum number of members? Is there in Egypt any institutional framework entrusted with promoting interreligious dialogues? I think your report has caught some of these questions, which we appreciate. On rights to participate in public affairs, that is Article 13. The report informs that elections for the House of Representatives and Senate were held in October 2020 and presidential elections in December 2023. A short-term joint African Union COMESA election observation mission was deployed to Egypt to observe the 2023 presidential elections. The mission the Commission notes with satisfaction the peaceful atmosphere in which the presidential election was held. Generally speaking, what are the concrete steps taken by the government of Egypt to strengthen confidence in the electoral process? What are the concrete measures taken to implement the Joint Election Observation Mission recommendations, in particular regarding the need to provide clear identification to polling officials and candidate agents, the continuous training for polling officers on closing and counting procedures to enhance their proficiency and the efficiency in the issuance of accreditation badges to allow for timely deployment of observers? Are there any national mechanisms that redress election-related disputes in Egypt? On national human rights institutions and other institutions, Article 26, The report under review mentions Presidential Decree number 616 of 2021, and which restructured the National Council for Human Rights for the first time in the Council's history, which, since its establishment, it is headed by a woman, and women represent 44 of its members. That's paragraph 108. The report also mentions the National Council of Women and the National Council of Childhood. The National Council of Human Rights is a member of the Network of African National Human Rights Institutions and enjoys the African Commission's affiliate status. It is accredited under A statutes by the Global Alliance of National Human Rights. The delegation is invited to provide detail on the nomination of National Council Human Rights members. What are the safeguards and the main guarantees for the full independence and effectiveness of the National Council Human Rights in delivering its mandate? Does the National Council for Human Rights enjoy sufficient human and financial resources in line with national and regional standards to fulfill its mandate? The delegation is invited to collaborate to elaborate on the role of National Council in the monitoring and follow-up on the regional and international human rights organ recommendations. On cooperation with the Commission, which is the final part of this general section questions, the Commission wishes to reiterate and extend its appreciation to the government for having hosted the 64th Ordinary Session from 24th April to 14th May 2019 in Sharm el-Sheikh. Additionally, the Commission is grateful to the government for having received a commissioner, the country rapporteur, in December 2024. The delegation is invited to provide updates on the measures taken to implement the following decisions on recommendations adopted by the Commission during reporting period. Communication 344/07, we can provide details of the communication. Communication 396/11 and of 2020, and communication 424 number 12/12, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank your delegation for the comprehensive report that you have submitted. I thank you, Chair, and yield the floor.
Je vous remercie, commissaire.